Hey guys, it is MissSimReno. If you are returning to the channel, welcome back. And if you're brand new, I am very excited that you decided to join me here today for another apartment renovation. And we are still in Evergreen Harbor working on those apartments. I believe this is one of the Pinecrest Apartments. I don't remember exactly which one, but there are only two. So maybe you can identify the orientation of this one. I'm not quite sure. But we are actually making a 1-bedroom and 1-bathroom apartment. I was going to try to make it a 2-bedroom, but then I had this idea for a couple that lives here. I was thinking they actually moved from Mount Komorebi. I don't know why. I just started thinking about Mount Komorebi and my Let's Play again. Gonna put that out there. I've been thinking about it. But anyway, I was thinking of this couple that moved from Mount Komorebi and they just got this small apartment in Evergreen Harbor, and they really just wanted it to be very tranquil because Mount Komorebi, that entire world just screams tranquility to me, and I just kind of wanted to bring that into an apartment as well. So what I decided to do is use a very muted tones throughout this entire apartment. It's not very colorful. There aren't really big, loud, vibrant pops of color anywhere, at least not in my opinion, and especially if I'm looking at the ways in which I've decorated other apartments or how I decorate my builds. This one is very muted and it was a bit uncomfortable for me at first, but I think I made it work and I was really happy with the result. And this is kind of a different layout that I haven't done before either, because I usually make this unit a 2-bedroom apartment. This was odd, I think, to use all of the space that I did for not having 2 bedrooms. I don't know if that made any sense, but as you can see, we started in the kitchen and I used these trusty Parenthood countertops as well as the overhead cabinets. I did put one open shelf in this kitchen, which is right above the sink. I thought that was very peaceful. And since they were so into like mindfulness, meditation, and tranquility, I decided that they definitely needed a tea magic brewer compared to a coffee machine. And I also used a lot of debug items just to add a fair amount of clutter around this coffee machine because I think they use it a lot. Like they use this every single day, multiple times a day for sure. But other than that, they don't really have any other appliances. I might give them a dishwasher, something I always forget to put in some of my builds. And of course, there is one countertop that is free for your Sims to be able to use and actually make their meals, but of course I had to clutter up the rest of the counters that were free. I also used a console table as kind of a faux island, which is something that I do very often. You can't actually sit there, but I think I end up putting a couple of bar stools underneath it, if my memory is serving me correctly, to kind of make it look as though you could pull out those stools and sit at this little faux bar. Let's be honest, there's not a lot of room at all. And originally I was going to use one of these bar stools and actually make it look as though your Sim could sit there, but I liked kind of putting them underneath it. I don't know why, I just really liked that idea because it, I guess, added to the fact that this was a little bit more of a compact kitchen, if that makes sense. But we are pretty much wrapping up the kitchen at this point. I'm just trying to find at least one piece of artwork that will work. I ended up using this one from the Snowy Escape expansion because it has what looks like a tea leaf. And I was like, well, that's perfect because they drink a lot of tea. And then we move on to the bathroom. And I will note right now that this little trick here with the sink did not work. I kind of didn't think it was going to. I just really liked how it looked, and honestly, I kind of just wanted to pretend for a little bit while I was working on the bathroom that it would work, but it did not. So I just ended up using that countertop and plopping the sink from Snowy Escape in it. And of course it worked just fine. They also have a shower tub combo, and I just put a couple of decorations in here, nothing crazy. And then you can probably see too that this right here is a little utility closet. So I give them a vacuum. I kind of put that little broom and dustpan detail. And then I think just a little kind of coat storage thing. Yeah, this one from Laundry Day, and I actually sized it down just one to make it fit in that little space because I think it's technically a 2-tile wide item, but it's one of those items that kind of clips in the walls at that point. I also used a little bit of the tool mod to be able to lower that mirror just a little bit on the wall because we all know they hang way too freaking high in The Sims 4. And since I couldn't eliminate that wall, I couldn't delete it to actually just freely place the mirror. I had to use tool. And then there's just a small little table in the front entryway, which is quite compact. And I also put a hanging plant in there too, just because I really liked how it looked. And it was kind of nice to revisit some of these Snowy Escape items that I really haven't used in some time. I think I've used maybe one of the shelving units or the bookshelf or something recently, but it was nice to use some of the lights and other decor items because I haven't really done a themed build around those items in what seems like a really long time. So I don't know, it's just very nice to use them here. I also put a couple of the paintings from that pack on this little hallway. So they have the bookshelf in the hallway, which I thought was nice. I was worried that it was going to jut out from the wall too much, but it really didn't, and I was able to actually push it into the wall a bit. And then I went a little crazy and I decided to clutter it up with a bunch of different items just to really make it look personalized and lived in, like I always try to do with every single one of my builds. I try to add clutter so they look personalized, lived in, and cozy, you know, same spiel. But I just really love this bookshelf. I love that there are spaces that, one, objects can clip to, but I also love that it has so much space for you to add your own clutter as well. So I added this little like cow plant figurine thing that came with Discover University. There is a vase or vase, whatever, however you want to say it. I say vase. And this vase is from Island Living. That sounded so ridiculous. I also put a couple of different books, this decorative plate, just a few different things. So maybe this couple, even though they're from Mount Komorebi, maybe they've done a lot of traveling. So maybe they got that, I don't want to say it again, vase. Maybe they got it when they went to Sulani. And then they also just have a few other knickknacks. There are a handful of candles throughout this entire build too, because candles to me just... that is tranquility to me, is having a bunch of candles all over the place. But I really like how this bookshelf came out. I spent a good chunk of time decorating it, and then we move on to the living room, which I wanted to make sure was a really good size. Typically this would be the master bedroom when I'm working in this particular unit, but I really wanted the living room to be big and open because the rest of the apartment is so compact, you know, like the kitchen's really tiny and there's no windows. The entryway is really small. The hallway's a little cramped, so I was like, it needs to open up. There needs to be a breath of fresh air somewhere in this apartment. So this is the living space. They do have just this sofa. I think there's also an armchair, and then they have a desk with a laptop there as well, which I was concerned that the couch was going to block your Sim's ability to sit down at the desk, but it did not, which was fantastic. And then I put the TV originally in the corner, and actually I think it might stay there, which is odd for me. I usually put it right flat up against the wall, but I wanted to kind of put it at an angle. That way there was a little bit more sitting room. I was going to say seated room, but sitting room. And then I also used this coffee table from Snowy Escape, and I sized one down and kind of tucked it under the other one. So it kind of looked like a multi-level coffee table, similar to the one that we have with, I think it's Get Famous technically. It's like the mid-century looking one. I want to say it's Get Famous, but I can't recall at this moment. You guys probably know. And then I spent some time decorating above the desk here, and of course filling up that shelf over the couch because it is just a big open shelf that I can clutter up with a ton of different things. It was a bit difficult only because I feel like I spent a lot of time picking out very specific clutter items for the bookcase, and then I was like, oh my gosh, wait, I have to pick out more clutter objects for this shelf? Why did I do this to myself? Like, why did I decide to do that? But I also added a few books here on top of the desk, and that little item from Tiny Living that I love so much with the little candles and the tea tray and the plant. And then I just put a light over this little corkboard and covered it with a calendar and a couple of postcards, which is something I do very often. That is what that object is for. And then I add a couple more pieces of artwork, the little magazine rack from Parenthood. And I didn't want to go too crazy with the wall decorations. I also didn't want them to be super colorful because, again, I was going with very muted, kind of neutral tones throughout this entire apartment. I didn't want there to be too many really vibrant pops of color. I think even the green in those Tiny Living paintings that I put on the wall was borderline for me, but I kind of let it slide because they were so simplistic. Then I was trying to use the tool mod to make it look as though that piece of artwork was leaning on the shelf, but this apartment lays on a diagonal for the grid that is embedded within the tool mod to be able to move objects. And I'm not going to lie to you, I was way too lazy. Like, I was not about to freaking move that around. I also put another vase on top of that shelf there. And then I just picked a few more clutter items that I thought would work. I wasn't quite sure maybe where they came from per se. But again, thinking that this couple travels a lot and that they picked up a lot of these knickknacks along the way and they just love displaying them in their home. I was also able to squeeze a plant over there in that corner. Again, doesn't block the seat for the desk at all, which is great. And then this is going to be the one and only bedroom where I was able to use the Eco Lifestyle bed because that is the coziest bed we have. Fight me. I think it's the coziest thing we have and I love it. And I just used the same darker wood tones throughout the bedroom. They have those side table lamps from Snowy Escape, and that is pretty much it for the build. So I hope you guys did enjoy this. I can't wait to hear your thoughts, and I will catch you guys next time I post a video, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.
Don't need someone to save me, no, and don't come running to blame me. From miles away I can tell that something's off. The way you look and how you pause when you talk, I think you said enough. You said your love for me something brand new. You said this is something you